The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
The Holy Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ, according to John.
Glory to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The next day, Jesus decided to go to Galilee. He found Philip and said to him, "Follow me." Now Philip was from Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found him about whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus, son of Joseph of Nazareth." Nathanael said to him, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Philip said to him, "Come and see." When Jesus saw Nathanael coming towards him, he said to him, "Here is truly an Israelite, in whom there is no deceit." Nathanael asked him, "Where did you come to know me?" And Jesus answered, "I saw you under the fig tree before Philip called you." Nathanael replied, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus answered, "Do you believe because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? You will see greater things than these." And he said to him, "Very truly, I tell you, you will also see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man." The Gospel of Christ.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The gospel this morning was kind of like Jesus coming to town saying, "Get ready for some big changes." Just starting his ministry, and it was kind of a sign that there's some stuff coming that's going to change the Jewish religion. Get ready. My topic this morning is change. What has changed? What will change? And is that a good thing? I don't know if I can make sense of these three questions or bring relevance to them, but I've been reflecting on that word change lately, and I do believe it's a worthwhile topic for reflection. We know that physically, from the time that we are born, we change. Our first form of communication is crying and building nuclear tacos in our diapers. That gets us the attention that we need. Then we develop language and emotional signals and learn how to get along in the world. We acquire a belief system that is, at first anyway, totally dependent on information we get from other people. Then we move on to the next 6 stages of our life as documented by Shakespeare as in like it, and each stage representing a change in us as humans. We all recognize that in science and in technology, change has been exponential over the last 100 years. And it was Victor Hugo who said, "No army can stop an idea whose time has come." Now, he made this statement during the French Revolution when he was writing Les Miserables, but I think it applies to many and varied conditions, including science and human behavior. Now, what about God? Is God changing? How has God changed? We know that for thousands of years, the practice of worship in various religions has changed, has undergone schisms, revolutions, adjustments. In Christianity, for instance, there was and continues to be resistance to change. Even as scientific knowledge proved some things that were believed in Christianity were not true, The biggest example is the Earth being the center of the universe. The Earth revolves around the sun. But for about 100 years, people who believed that were punished by the church and ostracized. Acceptance of evolution still is, well, it's not limited, but the denial of evolution still exists. Einstein said, science without religion is lame. But religion without science is blind. And St. Augustine said, he was a very practical theologian, that if a scientific fact is proven and it doesn't jive with the religion, then you've got to change the religion. You've got to adjust to it. It's one of God's lessons. So has God changed? It's a tough question. But I believe we are still infants in the understanding of God. It's just too much for us to grasp, and we are certainly in our infancy when it comes to understanding God. But I do believe that we understand God better than the caveman who dragged his spouse home to his cave. And I think we understand God better than the church that burned at the stake heretics and witches. I think we've come a long way from that. And I think we're at the dawn, at the threshold of deepening our understanding of God. In a way, man is the creator of God, as much as God is the creator of man. Thus, God has changed as we have changed. For centuries, God ruled by fear. Believe this, do that, don't do this. And the consequences of violating these rules will be everlasting fire. But fear, as motivation, does not generate a lot of passionate commitment, only reluctant compliance. Especially to some of the dumb stuff that religion has foisted on us over the centuries. Many places in the world are still governed by fear. But they too will change. There's an old Chinese saying that says, "Man who rides tiger may never dismount." And the man is in charge of the tiger, but boy, what happens when he gets off? Saddam Hussein rode such a tiger. Muammar Gaddafi rode such a tiger. Assad is still a war with this tiger. But the world will change. At some point, I have to believe that it will change because of God's inherent gift to us. His gift of spirit is one that tells us to have compassion, to give and to receive love. And at some time in our future, not while I'm living, but at some time in the future, that will be a universal truth. It will be an idea that no army can stop. God is changing. We are beginning to construct a God who is a loving and spiritual energy that motivates us to caring and compassion rather than crime and punishment. is steadfast and unchanging, if God is steadfast and not changing at all, then I hope that we are growing to be more in God's image. And that is the real change of God. Church is important to bring strength and understanding to the changes that will create a better world. And we have a responsibility to be an example to others in the community and to each other. And we can best do that through this organization we call St. John's. Our example will be a teacher for the community and for each other. We need to be open to a richer life that comes with faith from in here, from inside. From that part of us which is divine spirit. Each of us is a teacher for others. Whether we like it or not, we're teaching other people every day. And I can honestly say there isn't a person here that hasn't taught me something or inspired me in some way. And we have a responsibility to make that a good inspiration and a good teaching. Here at St. John's, we will survive as a vibrant community by caring for one another, by respecting views that are different from ours, even within the parish, and by recognizing the spark that lives in each of us that will bring the future of God as God Himself intended, and that is to love one another. Only then will we be created in His image. Amen. I'd like to do a reading that kind of summarizes what I said, but it's more poetic. High are the walls that guard the old, the tried and secure ways of yesterday that protect me from the dread plague, the feared heresy of change. For all change is a danger to the trusted order, the threadbare traditions that are maintained by the narrow ruts of ritual. Yet how can everlasting new covenant retain its freshness and vitality without injections of the new, the daring, and the untroubled? Creator, fuel the divine spark within me. Come, for you who are ever new, and wrap my heart in new skin, ever flexible, to be reformed by your Spirit. Set my feet to fresh paths this day. Come and awaken in me, Spirit of the new. Come and refresh me, Creator of life. Come and inspire me, risen Son. You who make all things new, come and teach me to dance with delight whenever you send a new melody.